Let me see your hands out of your pockets. Hands out of your pockets. Keep your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Turn around. Face away from me. Face away from me. Face away from me. Put the phone on the carts. Put the phone on the carts.
Hello, this is Jason Matthews. I'm a recently retired law enforcement officer. I was also a use of force instructor and a taser instructor during my career. And in this video, I'm going to be commenting on this public domain video that was released out of Florida. And I'll be giving you my perspective based on my training and experience of what I might be thinking if I was in this officer's shoes, what actions I might consider, and also giving you some information that the general public doesn't know about law enforcement. I don't know the details of this incident, and this is all hypothetical. Being a body camera is a limited static view of the incident. I'm just reacting to what I'm seeing while I'm watching in real time, just like you. But before we get started, if you support the police, click the like button. And if you do not support the police, click the dislike button. It's anonymous. I'm just curious of where you stand. Okay, let's get started. So what we've seen so far, there's an arrest occurring right now. And several things have happened in this video already in just the first few seconds that I want to break down and comment on. So we're going to go back to the beginning of the video, and I'm going to break it down step by step about what they're doing and what they're saying and why they're doing it, in my belief.
And let me see your hands out of your pockets. Hands out of your pockets.
Did you hear what he just said? He said, hands out of pocket. Why? First of all, officer safety. If someone has their hands in their pocket, and this is not something specific to this incident, this is pretty much all the time. We do not, people that officers encounter, we do not want them to have their hands in their pockets. That is because if you don't see where their hands are, their hands could be doing something else. And that, for example, if they have something in their pocket like a weapon, they could pull that weapon out and use that against the officer. And then also they could have contraband in the pockets also. Let's continue on.
Keep your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Turn around.
He just said two things right there. He said, hands up in the air and turn around. Why hands up in the air? He's putting him in a disadvantage for officer safety. If someone has their hands in the air, they are less likely to be able to get to a weapon, for example, or do further harm if that's what their intent is. Another reason is, again, if they have their hands in the air and they're fully up in the air, the officer can see those hands fully versus if they're down at their sides. If they're up in the air, the officer has a clear view of the hands of the individual.
Around. Face away from me. Face away from me.
He just said, face away from me. Why? He's putting him at a further disadvantage. Why? When I say disadvantage, what do I mean? He's putting him in a position where the officers have the advantage to make the arrest. So if they have him in a certain position, he's going to be less able to resist the arrest. And the officers can overpower him if, for example, there is an attempt to resist the officers.
Face away from me. Put the phone on the carts. Put the phone on the carts.
I believe he said, put the phone on the cart. And why would he say that? Two things. A phone could be possibly used as a weapon. If someone has a phone in their hand, they could turn around, swing, and hit somebody in the head. That's a possibility. Number two, if they're making the arrest, they don't want to have something in their hands to prevent the arrest. That's just another obstacle they don't want to deal with. And having him put his hands on the cart, now that's even a further disadvantage. They're putting him a further disadvantage because now he's bent over. The carts are lower, so he has to bend over to make contact with the carts.
Come on. What's your name, bro?
Now he is asking him what his name is. Why? Whenever an officer is going to arrest someone or is arresting someone or has arrested someone or has to detain someone, really it's a detention at this second until they know that who this individual is. Then it's converted into an arrest. Once they identify the person, they know this is the correct person that they're arresting. So they're asking him his name to make sure this is the correct individual. We always want to make sure this is the correct individual because we don't want to take innocent people into custody, correct?
What's your name? What is your name?
Secure.
Yeah. Just what's your name, man?
So as you can see, there are multiple officers around. Why is that? Whenever there's an arrest, especially the title of this video is a homicide arrest, especially in a circumstance where someone is suspected of homicide or the arrest is being taken place for homicide or there's probable cause to believe, then we want to have as many officers as possible. Why is that? If someone is suspected of committing homicide, then that individual is assumed to have committed a violent act, and we have to assume for officer safety reasons that that officer could continue to or could make another violent act against the officer. So just as a safety precaution, officer safety, multiple officers are involved here.
What is your name?
We have
What's your
it
last
all
name?
secure for now. What's the problem? I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I was on my phone.
Well, then we'll figure that out here in a minute. You could really help us out if you could identify yourself.
See, so now they have him restrained in handcuffs, and they're going to identify him, if at all possible, before they take him from that scene. And so generally, I don't know if this is an arrest warrant or someone was identified him from the street, for example. Maybe an officer drove by and identified him, what he thought was this individual who was wanted, for example. I don't know if that's the case here, but I'm just making up possible scenarios. And so if there is an arrest warrant, for example, there's going to be a picture in most cases of the individual that they will have with them with the arrest warrant to make sure that that is the correct individual based off the photograph. And then also they're going to do a search. So if he doesn't provide his name or if this individual does not provide the identity, then they will, since this is an arrest, they will be able to, as an incident to arrest, search the individual. And during that search, they will try to obtain an identification of the individual and then try to identify him in that manner.
What is the problem?
Okay. You're also not going to work with us on that. Hold on.
I'm not. What was I doing? I was on the phone. Was I not?
Call for
I got it right here.
Somebody have a picture of him?
I got it right here.
Yeah. Sure. Let's put that close.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's what we have.
Yeah, we think so.
So as you see there, they're having multiple officers have a photograph, and they're going to compare that to make sure this is the correct individual that they're taking into custody.
You don't have anything on you with your name on it?
I got rapid ID.
All right,
Cool.
What's the issue with it?
We'll figure all that out here in just a couple minutes.
Okay, question for you down in the comments. Respond, why is this officer putting on gloves? The officer that's standing next to the individual who has been detained or arrested in this case. Why is he putting gloves on? Comment down below. I want to know your answer. And if you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Take care and have a great day.